Okay, and welcome everyone to Intermediate Comp Plan Training. I have Clifton Dukes with me, all the way from the US, and Clifton has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Spanish teaching from Brigham Young University and a Master's of Education degree from Utah Valley University as well. He's fluent in Spanish and enjoys playing tennis, cycling, planting and harvesting a vegetable garden each year, and spending time with his spouse and 4 children. That's a little bit of his background. Clifton has worked in direct sales now for over 20 years, and he has specifically worked with commissions for 17 of those 20 years, and now for 9 years with Young Living. So we really do consider him the guru of the comp plan. Clifton enjoys teaching and feels that sharing the Young Living compensation plan with others is very rewarding, especially when members learn something new or a concept is clarified, which they may not have understood previously. I totally agree with that too. Please make welcome Clifton Dukes.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Really my pleasure to come and be a part of this presentation. So one of the first things that I always like to talk about at the beginning of any compensation plan training is that whatever we go through tonight, if you feel like at the end you still don't understand it all, that is fine. Because with every compensation plan training, you really want to try and learn at least one thing new or gain one additional piece of clarification that you didn't have before. So use this to build upon what you already know, this presentation tonight, and then every time you either present the compensation plan yourself or every time that you are involved in another training, you try to add to that additional knowledge. The other thing that I also usually like to share with everyone is that the compensation plan can be so beneficial, and a lot of times we forget just how much it can help in as part of the sharing that we do with others regarding Young Living, because we love the products, we love everything that the products provide us, but the compensation plan is also another piece of the entire Young Living story. And so I hope that tonight we can learn more about that story and then have the desire to share that with others. Okay, so we're gonna click through this here. There we go. So there is the next slide, and that is just really the slide that shows the entire compensation plan as it is on the brochure or flyer that we have. This is kind of the original version with some of the original colors, so it has changed a little bit as far as color scheme, but it's still the same content. So that's a lot of information that somebody might look at all at once, but we're gonna try to break down some of that information so that it's a little bit more understandable. Again, all compensation plans have numbers and details, so sometimes you can feel overwhelmed, but we're going to take this kind of step by step. So the first thing that you have to decide is how you're going to structure your Young Living business. With any good compensation plan, you have to make a difference between qualification and payout. So the very beginning of this plan, of this presentation, is going to be all about the qualification aspect of the compensation plan. So we will get into tonight, as part of the intermediate, a little bit about the payout, but most of that's going to be saved for, I believe, tomorrow night, when we'll get into a more advanced version of the compensation plan. So the first thing that you want to do is realize that you have to structure your organization appropriately. And this is what could be or could symbolize a type of structure that might be set up within an organization. That starts with you. You, as part of the basic structure, must have 100 PV in order to earn commissions. So PV, of course, is personal volume, and that's what you personally purchase for the month. So in order to receive commissions, you must have 100 PV minimum. And then with that, this compensation plan is actually designed to help as an intermediate compensation plan to show how to build to a leadership level. So the first goal that you're going to want to have as a leader is to build to that of an executive. And to build to executive, you just need to build 2 legs. So what does that mean? Well, you start to sponsor people. So you want to sponsor 2 people. And we have here on this slide that you've sponsored Sally and Leah. And each of these individuals that you've sponsored is the beginning of what we call a leg. So now everyone starts to get excited and the leg starts to grow. So you can see under Sally's leg there, she sponsored a couple of people, and then each of them sponsored 1 or 2, and then each of them sponsored 1, and the same thing with Leah. She sponsored a couple of people and they've sponsored a few individuals, and so on and so forth. So that's how the organization begins to grow. It's that sharing aspect. And so you shared with Sally and Leah, they shared with a couple of individuals, and then those individuals shared with a few others, and the organization begins to advance and to grow that way. So in order to rank to meet the executive rank and to qualify as an executive, you have to have 100 PV. You need 2 legs, each with a total of 1,000 in leg volume. The member at the top of the leg needs to have 100 PV, and you need a total of 4,000 OGV, which is organization group volume. So that's a lot of words, but we're going to actually show that in this slide right here, where it shows you, and you have 100 PV, and then you have Sally's leg, and the amount of volume in Sally's leg needs to total a minimum of 1,000 in leg volume. And then Sally at the top of that leg has 100 PV in order to qualify that leg with the 1,000. The same thing with Leah. Leah has to have 1,000 in organization group volume in that leg, or 1,000 leg volume. And then Leah has to have 100 PV herself at the top of that leg to qualify the leg. Now, all the volume in the entire organization has to total 4,000. That includes everything in the entire organization, including your own PV, has to equal 4,000 in order for you to reach the rank of executive. So you can see that with Sally's leg of 1,000 and Leah's leg of 1,000, and then all the volume in the entire organization totaling up to over 4,000, and then you yourself having 100 PV, that has qualified you to reach the level of executive. Okay. All right, so this is another example of what organization group volume is, and it includes everything. Again, it includes all the volume in Sally's leg, all the volume in Leah's leg, all the volume in your entire organization, all those other smaller legs, and then even your own PV, your own 100 PV is part of your organization group volume. Okay. So after reaching the rank of executive, the next goal that you need to set is to become silver. And really what you're doing is you're using the exact same 2 legs, you're just building more volume in those legs in order to reach that rank. Okay, one other thing that I failed to mention at the beginning of the presentation, if anyone has any questions, let's go ahead and take note of those, and then if you'll include those in the question and answer at the end of the presentation, I'm going to be here and happy to help answer anything that you may have questions about or need further clarification on. So I'm just going to try to go through the presentation, and then at the end we can go back and answer some questions. Okay. So at silver, you still have to have 100 PV for personal volume in order to rank as silver. You still have to have 2 legs, but now instead of each leg being 1,000 in volume, they now need to be 4,000 in volume. And then instead of a total organization group volume of 4,000, you need a total organization group volume of 10,000. And then there's a new requirement at the rank of silver, and this new requirement continues at ranks higher than silver, but that requirement is 1,000 PGV, or 1,000 in personal group volume. And I will explain what that actually means as well. One thing that I do want to point out, though, before I explain what PGV is notice that when you start to continue helping your 2 leaders in your organization to build from 1,000 in leg volume to 4,000 in leg volume, that in and of itself is going to help to increase the total of your organization group volume from 4,000 to 10,000. So I just like to point that out because a lot of members have said, oh, that's a lot more volume. I have to build from 4,000 to 10,000. That's true. However, that will come naturally as you're working with your 2 leaders in your 2 leader legs that you have already built to the level of executive, so that you don't have to think so much about the total organization group volume that you're going to need. It'll just come naturally. That 1,000 in personal group volume is really quite simply all the volume in your organization, excluding that of your 2 qualifying legs, in this example as that of a silver. So your personal group volume cannot be any of the volume in your qualifying legs. It also cannot be any of the volume in any silver or higher ranked member leg. So let me go through this, the next few slides, and we're going to see what that looks like. So right here, you have done 100 PV as you need to do in order to qualify at silver. You can see that Sally's leg that was 1,000, she's been growing and helping others in her organization to build and grow. And so her leg now has over 4,000 in leg volume. Leah's done the same thing. She has been working with individuals in her organization, and she's grown that leg to be strong, and it's got over 4,000 in leg volume. And then all of the volume in your entire organization, including everyone, all of Sally and all of Leah's leg, every amount of volume that's in your organization, even your own PV, has to total 10,000. And there will be another slide that shows that. But your PGV would be all the volume in your organization, excluding everything in Sally's leg and excluding everything in Leah's leg. And the reason why is because Sally is one of your qualifying legs and Leah is one of your qualifying legs. So none of the volume in either of those 2 legs can count towards that 1,000 PGV, the personal group volume. Now your own PV does count as part of that personal group volume. So don't forget that your own PV does still count as part of that volume. So this is PGV. Again, your PGV is made up of people in your organization who are not in any qualifying leg or anyone meeting the paid as silver rank and above. PGV is made up of non-qualifying leg volume, which includes members and customers just getting started. Your own PV is part of your PGV. And if you personally enroll new members and place them in any silver rank or higher leg or any qualifying leg, they're not going to be part of your PGV. They will only be part of your OGV. We put that in there because when you personally enroll new members, it can be a good idea to decide where it is you're wanting to place them so that you know where that volume is going to count. Oftentimes, we might place someone with another individual that we know is going to work well with them, but we may have forgotten exactly where that volume is going to count. So if it is someone that's in one of your qualifying legs, then it will not count as part of your PGV volume that you may need in order to meet the rank qualification of silver or higher. Okay, so here's another slide that shows the difference again of OGV and PGV. So OGV, organization group volume, is all the volume in your entire organization. So you can see that that includes everything, even your own PV. But then PGV, personal group volume, is going to only include the volume outside of those qualifying legs. So you can see that the PGV does not include any volume in Sally's leg and also does not include any volume in Leah's leg, but it does include your own PV still. So there's the difference really between PGV and OGV. All right. So again, this is just another breakdown of silver rank qualification. In order to receive commissions, you have to have 100 PV, 2 legs with 4,000 in each leg, and the organization group volume has to total 10,000. and then your personal group volume, PGV, has to equal 1,000. After that, your next goal would be to go for the gold. This is going to include adding an additional leg, a third leg. You want to increase the leg volume from 4,000 as a silver to 6,000 as a gold. And then you're going to increase your organization group volume from 10,000 as a silver to 35,000 as a gold. So again, it also becomes very important to remember that as you are helping your leaders to build their leg volume from 4,000 to 6,000, and then also working with a third leg, a third leader, that will inherently help your organization group volume to increase to the 35,000. So it shouldn't feel like it's such a big undertaking, because it will just come naturally. So here's a depiction of what it looks like to reach the rank of gold. You have 100 PV. Sally's leg has again started to grow and has grown larger to 6,000 in leg volume. Leah's leg has done the same, has grown from 4,000 to over 6,000 in leg volume. And now you have John, and John has been another leader that's been working hard and has built a leg that's over 6,000 in leg volume. So those are your three qualifying legs, Sally, Leah, and John. And then all the volume in your entire organization, everything has to total 35,000. And then the volume outside of those three qualifying legs, so not counting any volume in Sally's leg, not counting any volume in Leah's leg, and not counting any volume in John's leg, all those smaller legs plus your own PV has to total a minimum of 1,000 in personal group volume. So this is really the breakdown of your goals. To become an executive, have 100 PV, 2 legs at 1,000 in each of those legs, and then a total of 4,000 organization group volume. There is no personal group volume or PGV requirement at the rank of executive. At the rank of silver, you have the 100 PV, 2 legs that you have now helped to build to a level of 4,000 in volume. You have a total organization group volume of 10,000, and then you do have that new requirement of 1,000 personal group volume. And then at gold, 100 PV, 3 legs at 6,000, total organization group volume of 35,000, and then 1,000 in personal group volume. So usually at this point in the presentation, if I were in front of a large group, which I normally am, I would ask, knowing that as executive you need 2 legs, and silver 2 legs, and then at gold it increases to 3 legs, what does everyone think the next rank qualification of platinum is going to require? And so hopefully you can see that this becomes a progression. Again, at executive and silver, it is just 2 legs, but you're increasing the amount of volume in each of those legs. At gold, it becomes a progression that you need to increase to 3 qualifying legs, with each one having over 6,000, having a minimum of 6,000 in leg volume. And then at platinum, you're going to increase to 4 legs, and those 4 legs have to have a total of 8,000 in each leg. And then the organization group volume increases from 35,000 to 100,000. You still have the same requirement of 100 PV and 1,000 in personal group volume. And then from platinum to diamond, that also is going to require an additional leg. So going from 4 legs at platinum to 5 legs at diamond. And those legs have to, they increase from 8,000 in each leg to 15,000 in each leg. And so it's just a progression. And I like to point that out so that everyone knows this is really, that's what this rank qualification is all about, is starting at this level of executive, but then progressing forward and helping those that are in your organization who are wanting to build and build to a leadership level to also progress along with you. Okay. So once again, higher ranks simply have more legs with higher qualifications. And you can look at the compensation plan flyer or the compensation plan brochure that's online in the virtual office to see exactly what the breakdown is for each of those. But the first focus is to become an executive and then build to silver. And then some are going to want to build to gold and then even higher. Okay. So bonuses and rewards. We're just going to talk about in this particular session a few of the bonuses and rewards that come with the qualification. So just so that everyone's aware, that whole concept of qualification, that's over now. We're going to talk about what you actually receive as far as compensation for meeting those qualifications. So in Young Living, it is a little bit different than other companies within this industry because we have an enroller and a sponsor. Now, generally, the enroller is the individual who introduces someone to Young Living. So that's how we define it. If I were to introduce someone to Young Living, I would want to be the enroller for that individual. The sponsor, however, is the direct upline and main support to the member that is enrolling. So I could, if I introduce Young Living to someone, I could be both their sponsor and their enroller. However, I could choose to sponsor them under someone else already in my organization. And the reason why could be it could vary, but a lot of times it's because I know that someone in my organization is going to work well with this individual, or it could be that they have very similar interests. They could both be massage therapists, or they could have other life interests that means they're going to work really well together. And it could also just mean that I feel like I am already supporting personally enough members on my front line that I need help. That's what this is. That's the great part about this compensation plan, is that it's about helping each other. And so in your organization, you might have someone that you know is going to support the people underneath them. And you can say, I'm enrolling this new person. I introduced Young Living to them, but I'm going to place them under you because I've already got so many people that I'm helping. I need your help in helping this individual. And you know, that's the importance of making sure that you find the right person to place members under so that they can have strong sponsors, individuals that will reach out and help them. But when you have those individuals in your organization, you know that the new members that you enroll will receive the support that they need. So let's just start with the Fast Start bonus. And it says you enroll them, you earn a 25% commission on the PV, personal volume, of all new people you enroll for their first 3 calendar months. So this is a great upfront bonus that members can receive. Now, within the industry, we usually refer to this as the upfront bonuses versus the back-end payout. And so tomorrow night is when I'm going to talk a little bit more about back-end commission payout. But this is the upfront bonuses that can help a member to jumpstart their business. It's meant to help as far as paying for such things as having a meeting, being able to travel to that meeting and have space for that meeting, or having some marketing materials that you're going to hand out to members that you want to share with members. That could include anything from products or flyers and brochures that you've purchased, etc. So the Fast Start bonus isn't necessarily meant to be a long-term extended payout for someone, but instead it's supposed to be that upfront, quick bonus payout to help jumpstart their business. So you enroll Sally, and you earn 25% of Sally's PV for her first 3 months. Sally enrolls Bill, and you earn 10% of Bill's PV for the first 3 months. And Sally's going to receive the 25% of Bill's PV for the first 3 months. So the great thing about this Fast Start bonus is not only does it pay 1 level, but it pays 2 levels. So you as the enroller can receive 25%, and then anyone that you've enrolled, if they enroll someone, you earn 10%. So that's a great return and a great benefit. In fact, I usually ask in an open meeting, who can tell me where they can go and receive 25% on return for the investment that they put in to sharing something with someone. I really don't know of anywhere that you can go and receive a 25% return on your investment. And that's what you're really doing. You're investing your time, you're investing your knowledge with sharing Young Living with others. And so that 25% is a fantastic, wonderful return. I even like to ask, who can tell me where they can get a 10% return on their investment, which is how much the second level of this bonus pays. And that it's not typical that you can find even a 10% return on your investment. So this is really a great bonus. And in this example, you can see that you earn off of Sally 25% of that 200 PV. Now we're assuming that Sally's going to place a 200 PV order every month for 3 months. But if she places a 200 PV order every month for 3 months, 25% would be 50 times the 3 months times the 1.3, which is the exchange that we're using currently for Australia. And that's going to equal 195 Australian dollars. And then Bill, if he places a 150 PV order for 3 months, 10% of that is going to be 15 times 3 months times the 1.3 exchange would be 58.5 Australian dollars. So the total for the first 3 months is 253.5 Australian dollars. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but ask yourself the question in this particular example, how many people did you enroll? And the answer should be that you only enrolled one person. You enrolled Sally. And then how many people did Sally enroll? Sally enrolled one person, that was Bill. So that actually, when you consider that you enrolled one individual and Sally has only enrolled one individual, is a really good return for that amount of effort. But the thing is this can be repeated over and over based on you enrolling additional new people, Sally enrolling additional new people, or others that you may enroll other than Sally who also enroll new people. So that's the great part about this bonus, is that it has a much stronger and a much stronger payout than just what this example may show. There is one thing at the bottom of this slide that says the Fast Start bonus does have a maximum payout of 260 Australian dollars per newly enrolled distributor per month for the first 3 calendar months. And so what that means is that if you think about it, how much PV would someone have to do? How much PV would someone have to complete in a month at the 25% payout in order for you to receive $260? Well, it should be 800 PV. So if Sally were to have completed 800 PV, 800 PV times the 25% times the 1.3 exchange would have been 260 Australian dollars. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't pay commissions on PV higher than 800, because oftentimes that's the question that I'm asked. It just means for this particular Fast Start bonus, that's the maximum that we're going to pay on. If Sally were to do 900 PV, we would still only pay up to the 800 PV maximum, and therefore the $260 for this particular Fast Start bonus. So it does have kind of a maximum. The other thing I'd like to point out, though, is that not many members are ordering 800 PV or more each month. There are a few, but not many are ordering that much. So that maximum is rarely met with new members. Okay. So again, this is the growth through enrolling. And I love to show this because it shows just how enrolling new members can really help to increase this Fast Start bonus payout and therefore help you to jumpstart your business. So you enrolled Sally and Sally enrolls Bill, and we just saw that example. So you received the 25% of Sally's 200 PV. And again, we're assuming that she's going to place 200 PV for 3 months. So that's 195 Australian dollars. Bill does 150 PV for the 3 months. And I don't think I changed that exchange to the 1.3. I apologize, but that total of the 58.5 should be accurate. And then you enrolled Leah, and Leah enrolls Rachel. So again, I did not change that exchange, but the totals are accurate. The 195 and the 58.50 are the correct Australian dollar totals if you use the 1.3 exchange rate. So I apologize for not updating that on this slide. And then you also enroll John. Now John does a fairly large order of 500 PV. And again, in this particular example, we're going to assume that he completes that 500 PV each month for 3 months, and for a total of 487.5 Australian dollars over that 3-month period. Now, looking at this example, how many people have you enrolled? And again, you would have to say to yourself, you've enrolled 3 individuals. You enrolled Sally, you enrolled John, and you enrolled Leah. Sally enrolled Bill, and Leah enrolled Rachel. So this is a very small organization, but it's the beginning of what someone may start building as far as their downline organization. And so over a 3-month period of time, knowing that John is placing a fairly large order each month for 3 months, then that is a total payout of 994.5 Australian dollars, which is a really good payout considering that you've enrolled 3 people and 2 of those 3 individuals have enrolled 1 individual each. And so this is how that entire enrollment process and the growth through enrollment starts to take place. Okay. The only other thing I really wanted to talk about tonight is the Start Living bonus. So the reason why I wanted to talk about Fast Start bonus and Start Living bonus, or starter kit bonus is what it's also called, that's what I usually refer to it as well, is because these 2 bonuses, the Fast Start bonus and the starter kit bonus, are the only 2 bonuses that pay to the enroller. Everything else that I'll end up talking about later on tomorrow night is going to be a payout, a commissionable payout to the sponsor and those above the sponsor. But tonight, as part of this intermediate training, I wanted to talk about the 2 bonuses, the only 2 bonuses that pay to the enroller. So that's Fast Start bonus, and now this, the starter kit bonus. So the starter kit bonus is really, really simple. Each new member who purchases the premium starter kit in the month that they enroll, the enroller receives a one-time bonus, and the Australian dollar value would be 32.5 Australian dollars for that bonus. Now, I do want to clarify that when someone newly enrolls, they must purchase that premium starter kit in the same calendar month that they have enrolled. So I often will say, as an example, if a new member enrolls on the 31st of July, what is their calendar month for their first month of enrollment? And their calendar month for the first month of enrollment is that very day, the 31st of July. They don't get until the end of August to place their order for the premium starter kit. They must order the kit in the same calendar month that they enrolled. So if they enroll on the last day of the month, they have to place an order for the premium kit on that same day, the last day of the month, in order for this bonus to pay to the enroller. I think that's everything that I really wanted to talk about. This about Unilevel is something that we can talk about tomorrow night. It becomes more of the advanced portion of the compensation plan. So that's really everything that I had for tonight as far as the intermediate. But I welcome any questions and any clarifications that I can provide.
Well, Clifton, we've had one question
Okay.
from the audience, and they have asked, what happens if someone at the top of your leg stops doing the business and doesn't order the 100 PV? Does the whole leg fall over?
So that's a great question. And here's how you kind of have to consider it. If the person at the top of the leg stops ordering, then that can cause a little bit of that can cause some problems with if that is the qualifying leg. However, if there's a member under that individual somewhere in the leg that has 100 PV and still has the total organization group volume in that leg to qualify it, Young Living will look down the leg until it finds someone who has the 100 PV at the top of the leg and the amount of leg volume in that leg so that it can still qualify the member. Sometimes there's not, though. Sometimes if you start to look down within a leg, there's not another person who has 100 PV and enough volume to still qualify that leg. And so therefore that can cause a problem. So it's important to, make sure that the person at the top of the leg is going to be a leader in your organization before you start helping to build and build so heavily that it becomes your qualifying leg, and then they decide not to order anymore, because that can cause problems. The other option, though, that is available is if someone says, I can't do the business anymore, or it's taking too much of my time, or whatever it might be, and they don't want to place orders anymore. Work with them on trying to find out if they would be willing to sell their organization to someone else, because they can sell their organization to someone, and that person can step in and be the individual at the top of that leg. Now, Young Living does hold the right to decide whether or not to allow for that seller transfer to take place. And what we're really looking for is we want to make sure that the person who takes that place is going to offer the support needed to the downline organization. So as long really as the leader above those members knows that the downline will still receive the support that they need, that is an option that can be looked at, is a sale or transfer of that organization to someone who will be a builder, will place the 100 PV, and still qualify that leg each month. So look at that as an option if that is something that needs to happen.
If they're looking down the leg, it would be the first person, would it, with the 100 PV?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
Can't choose it.
You can't. Right. It's the way the system is designed is it will continue to walk down the leg until it finds the first person who has 100 PV, and then it looks to see how much volume they have as part of their organization under them, to see if it's enough to qualify that leg or not. So.
Another question, will they look to the person immediately below the top of the leg with 100 PV? And then if they don't, then look to the next. I think we just answered that question.
It keeps looking down until it finds the first person with 100 PV. And then if they have enough organization group volume in that leg under the person with the 100 PV, it will still qualify. That leg will still qualify. But if not, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's not enough, then it won't.
So okay, another question. Thanks, Samantha. So the 10% on the Fast Start bonus is only for the first 3 months. She said she wasn't aware of that.
Yes, it's the first 3 calendar months that we pay. Again, this is just meant to be an upfront, very quick Fast Start bonus. So the 10%, as well as that 25%, is only for the first 3 calendar months that a member may be enrolled. And then after that, that particular bonus doesn't pay any longer. Now, here's something that I do need to clarify. It's often a question that's asked when I present. If you newly enroll someone and they start to build an organization and everything's going really well, and then all of a sudden they say, something's happened in my life, I just don't have the time right now, I can't dedicate a lot of resources to building Young Living at the moment, and they decide to take a little bit of time off. So they say, I need a few months. I can't build at the moment. I can't build Young Living at the moment. So they take a few months. Let's say they take 6 months off, and they're still placing their PV order, but they're really not building their organization during that 6-month time frame. At the end of 6 months, and they come back and they say, okay, now I'm ready. Things have changed in my life. I'm ready to start building again. The great thing is that every time, so it doesn't matter that 6 months have passed. As soon as they start enrolling new members again, any new member that they enroll, they're going to earn the 25% off of, and you will continue to earn that 10% off of those new members that they enroll. It doesn't matter how many months have passed in between from when they were initially really excited about building, and when they maybe had to take a break, and when they're excited again about building their organization. So the point of that is never give up on anyone. Never look at someone as, oh, 3 months have gone by, and their 3 months are gone. I better go work with the next new person. No, you don't want to think like that, because the reason why is at any moment when that individual, no matter how long they've been signed up, when they get excited and they start sharing Young Living with others and they start building an organization, they will earn the 25%, but you will continue to earn that 10% second level fast start bonus off of any new member that they enroll. So never give up on anyone. There's always that possibility that they will get excited and start to share and start to enroll new people.
So we've got another commission question here, which is what we're focusing on. What happens to commissions if a customer returns an order? Does it get deducted from you in the next commission period?
It does. So whenever an order is returned and that volume is or the products are received back, the volume is then returned as well, and there is a commission adjustment, or what we call a commission retraction, that will take place, and that would show up in the next month's commission earnings.
Rona says, thank you for explaining the PGV. It makes more sense now.
Good.
Susie asked a question, but I'm not sure you're the best person to answer this. I'll ask it anyway.
Okay.
What is the best way to have a new member purchase a PSK and Essential Rewards? What is the best thing to say?
The best thing to say to someone about purchasing a PSK and Essential Rewards?
Buy the PSK and go on Essential Rewards.
Well, so here's the best part about the PSK, the Premium Starter Kit, is that if you compare, so the Premium Starter Kit should include all the same oils as what's found in the Everyday Oils collection. If you compare the retail value of that Everyday Oils collection to the wholesale value of the Premium Starter Kit, you're going to see that there is a big difference in the price. So that's the first thing that I would share, is letting them know the difference in the retail price of just ordering the oils versus the wholesale price of ordering the entire Premium Starter Kit. The second thing, though, is have them realize what all they receive in that Premium Starter Kit. Not only do they get the oils, they also get a diffuser, and there also are other, I'm not sure exactly what all is included in the Premium Starter Kit in Australia, but I know that generally it includes some Ningxia Red sample packets. It includes a rollerball fitment, another small 5 milliliter bottle of oil, outside of all the oils that are already included as part of the Everyday Oils collection. So with all that is received for the price that's paid, it is a huge value. It's a great value as compared to buying all of those items separately, or even if someone just said, well, I just want to buy, just as a retail customer, the oils. Well, then show them the difference in the price for the Everyday Oils kit versus the Premium Starter Kit.
And Susie, you might need some training from your upline for that type of thing. It's something that you guys excel in. And one more question, or actually there's a couple of questions, and we might make this the last one, Clifton. The member asks to clarify, really, that the sponsor is the member's immediate upline, which is correct. Is the enroller not the immediate upline? They're asking. What is the normal role of the sponsor? Many online books talk about the enroller being the main person to look after the member.
So again, the enroller is the individual who introduces someone to Young Living. The sponsor is the main contact and the main person to support the individual. So you can be both the sponsor and the enroller. Okay, so that happens a lot of the time. The sponsor and the enroller are the same person. However, the sponsor could be someone else. Again, the example given where I might introduce someone to Young Living, but I decide to place them in my organization under someone else so that that person can be the sponsor, is usually in an effort to help two individuals that might have very similar interests work well together. Or it could be that I know that this other person in my organization is going to help this new member. And I am already spread thin with my time and with my ability to really reach out and help this new member as much as I would like. But I know that this other leader in my organization will do that for me. And so I let them know I'm putting this new person, I'm enrolling this person. They're brand new. I introduced them to Young Living, but I'm putting them under you as the sponsor so that you can help be their immediate contact, answer questions about the products, answer questions about the compensation plan, or any of the other great programs and benefits that Young Living has to offer. So the sponsor is technically the immediate and direct support for the individuals that are directly underneath them. The enroller can be a support. The enroller does have to be in the upline. So either you are the sponsor and the enroller, or the enroller is someone above the sponsor, and the sponsor is someone below the enroller who is within the organization. But the enroller isn't necessarily going to be the immediate support for that individual. It's just a representation of who introduced that individual to Young Living.
Excellent. Thank you for your patient explanation. It's
Sure.
wonderful. Well, we're going to leave it there for tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention and your participation. We really appreciate that. And please keep an eye out for advanced comp plan training, which we're recording tomorrow night. And both of these will be available on the virtual office within a couple of days. Thank you very much again. And thank you, Clifton. Really appreciate it. Have a good evening.